My name is Brianna Sip. I'm 18 years old and I'm addicted to buying yarn and never using it all. So I know a lot of crocheters, knitters, anybody who uses yarn. They all love the different types of yarn that are provided in stores. They love to experiment with different types of yarn, and I'm sure they're guilty of having a few scraps that they never use. But for me, it's a lot worse than just scraps. I have a bunch of unfinished projects. I have a bunch of whole rolls that I never used because I bought more yarn than I needed for a project. So, since I am moving out soon to go to college, I kind of need to chomp down on the supply that I have of yarn. So, we're going to do this little series where I try to use up all my unfinished projects, all of my scrap yarn, all of my extra rolls of yarn that I thought I could never use because I just thought they didn't go together. So first things first, like I said, we're gonna sort out our supply. So behind me we have a bunch of extra rolls, some unfinished projects, some scrap yarn, and also my finished projects that I just keep out here so it doesn't take up all of the space in my room. But let's get into organizing these by color and making some possible color palettes. So here's a closer look. Yeah, these are the finished projects, but this is my yarn that I usually keep in my room. This is the yarn I keep out here, and this is the yarn that was just under my bed. So all of this yarn was gifted to me. This used to be my grandma's yarn, as well as those flowers that are all in that bag. So we have a bunch of this color, so I can probably make a whole something out of that. So we're not gonna include that in this series because it's not really scraps when it's that much. So we're gonna continue to organize these colors and see what we have from the gifted yarn that can make a good color palette. So this is the box organized. We have all of these shades of pink, radishes, and yeah, so I'm thinking like a different shades of pink something. That would be cool. And then there's also some colors down here, some blues, white, black, white, black. So I want to make something cow print, like a cow print square for that. And yeah, so here's all of the yarn outside of this hamper that I keep in my room. So now I'm going to organize this as well. So I did already make these squares, but I never used them. But I was gonna make my bucket hat out of these. But now I'm kind of thinking pastel cow print, you know? And I can just save this for another project. I can make more squares to make something bigger, which I think will be really cool. So I'm gonna take this scrap that I put over here, and we're gonna go back over here. This I'm thinking for the 4th of July, since that's next week. I can use the sparkly ones, because I don't know when else I'd use it. And then I also have the normal red too, and the normal red and blue over there too. So these are the colors I'm thinking for the pastel bucket hat. I need to find my pastel purple. It does have sparkles in it, but you can't really tell. So once I get the purple, we'll be using these colors to make a cow print pastel bucket hat. So here's the scraps that we are working with today. Now that that part is done, I'm going to make our cow print squares. So I'm gonna make them about this size, I think. I think that's a good size. So I don't know how many I have to make. I'm just gonna make it until the strip fits around my head. But first things first, the first time I did the cow print, I used a 2.5 millimeter hook, but that's because I crochet what is it called? I crochet loosely, so this helps me make it a good size and not too big. So for the size shape for the square size that I want, I'm going to chain 19, and then we're gonna do 1 round of single crochets across the whole thing. So now we have the first part done. This is just 1 round of single crochets. Let me drop that. I can't, okay. But yeah, 1 round of single crochets. So it's almost 1/4 of my head. But since this won't be stretchy, since it's not made out of granny squares, I might just make them all 1/4 of my head.
So, must be tough moving to a new school.
Oh, what she means to say is hi.
Hi.
So I'm almost done with the last square that like goes around my head. So here's one of, well, this is the last one, okay? And you can actually see the spots. This is what I should have showed y'all first. But now I'll show you how I've been attaching them. So I cut the blue because I do not need the blue anymore, and I keep losing my scissors. But we're gonna cut the blue now, and we're going to tie it onto the white string. We're not gonna cut the white yet because we still have to attach it to the other squares. And then we're gonna make it into a box, and hopefully the box fits over my head. But yeah, I'm gonna have to take my ponytail down to see. Okay, it does fit, so we are good. Yeah, so this is what it looks like right now. Now I'm going to turn it back where these parts are so I can single crochet these 2 pieces together. And then after we make this box, I have to make a square big enough to go on top of this. So here's another trying on test. I finished making the little box. So yes, it does fit around my head. Now I just have to make the top part, and then we'll start the brim. But I mean, if you want a little headband or something, here you go. So now here's the box, and we have our last square. I'm just going to sew it onto the top. So I just finished attaching the top square. Let me do this again. Okay, I just finished attaching the top square, so now it looks like this. This also made me think this could be a cool dice. Like, you can make dice, crochet dice, just do another side and stuff it with some filling. That would be cool. Or like Minecraft stuff, if y'all played that. I used to love that game. But now I need to undo this so I can see if it fits. Yeah, okay, it can go over my head. Okay, good. So now we have to do the brim, and I'll come back to you guys after that. So here I am just doing a row of single crochets along the bottom, and then I will start doing the brim. Hey guys, so oops, let me straighten it up a little bit. I finished the bucket hat. Here's the side, and then I'll open it and do a little 360. But yeah, this is the hat. I'm obsessed with it. It looks so good. This is my first time making a bucket hat out of squares, which I probably will do more often because I like the shape of this one. And then on the inside, it kind of looks cool. If you want to have the stitches on the outside, it's kind of different. But here it is. We're gonna put it on now. I like it this section, or do I? Which part looks better? I'll just do this one. So here she is. I love it so much. It's a little multicolored pastel bucket hat. So you guys can make it too. It's not that hard, just make the squares. And if you understood what I was talking about with the cow print pattern, then you can do the cow print too. But if you do want a separate tutorial for the cow print, I'll teach you guys how to do that. But yeah, nobody else has something like this. If you make one for yourself. But thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of my yarn addiction. Next episode, I want to make a tote bag, and then after that, I'm not sure yet. Either I'll find some inspiration somewhere else, or maybe I can make that crochet dice I was talking about. I don't know, but comment down below some ideas too to make out of some scrap yarn or to make out of these extra squares that I have. But I'm thinking of making this over a long period of time, just make a long cardigan out of these, because I think that could be really cool. It'll just take a long time, and you know, well, I know that I'm impatient when it comes to crocheting. I hate doing things that take a really long time, even though the long cardigans I do make, those kind of take a while, but I get those done in like 3 days because I work nonstop, and I do not want to put myself through that to make a long cardigan out of these little squares. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on all of my social media, and I am making a Patreon for some exclusive tutorials too. It's not up yet, but I am going to be working on that for the next few weeks. And yeah, stay tuned for some college related videos because it is about 1 month, like a month and a half until I do go off to college. So expect some college apartment hauls, a tour, and all of that in the upcoming couple months.